Testing. Hello, everybody. Welcome again to the Extraordinary Talk Show. This is your weekly radio and video series to help you find your personal extraordinary. I am your host, Della Hill, and I have another great topic to share with you today that I am so excited about. Let me just add real quick, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Yay! Okay, the last couple weeks, we have talked about your body and your relationship with your body, but that you are not your body. It is a tool that you have. We also talked about your intuition and how you can listen to your intuition, how it can help you guide your life, which is awesome. Check and make sure all my buttons are set right. So today we're going to bring all that together. You, your body, and your intuition. Your body has a language for you. Your body speaks through emotions. This is very, very important. And very often your intuition can give you lessons through those emotions. So if you are struggling trying to figure out how to listen to your intuition, here's a really great place to start. Let's go back to your body and how your intuition speaks to you through your body. This might sound unique or interesting, but just stick with me here, hang around, listen, and let me explain it all. There is a really awesome TED Talk out there by a woman named Amy Cuddy, and it is called Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are. I love the title of that because I would kind of change the meaning. I would even keep the words the same. Instead of your body language may shape who you are as far as what kind of body language you use, I would say your body language may shape who you are because of the language that your body uses when it's talking to you, which is primarily, not the only way, but primarily through your emotions. Also, I want to let you know, one of the big parts of my purpose in teaching this, doing the show, teaching the things that I teach, is to help you take responsibility for yourself, to help you not only find your personal extraordinary, but take the steps that it's going to take to get you there. We are all amazing, incredible beings and we really don't recognize our potential. Our potential, and it's not even our potential, it's what we are, it's who we are that we just don't even realize. If you say potential, it's like something that we could be. I'm not talking about something that we could be. I'm talking about something that we are and just figuring out how to uncover it, because we all are more phenomenal than you can even imagine. Your own skills and abilities, off the charts, beyond what you could dream of. And so little bit by little bit, I want to help you take steps to find that, to recognize it, to see it inside yourself. That's what we're here. That's what we're for. And personal responsibility is very, very important when it comes to doing those things. If you cannot take personal responsibility, how are you ever going to change your life? If you can't look at your own life and recognize the good things and the bad things and what you need to change, it's really, really hard to make a difference. It's really hard to improve who you are. Another show we did lately was on acknowledging what's negative. That negativity is not necessarily a bad thing. You must recognize the negative in order to fix it. You've got to recognize that the floor is dirty so you can sweep up the dirt. If you just ignore it and ignore it and ignore it and blame it on something else or somebody else, your floor is always going to be dirty. So a lot of what we're here for is to little bit by little bit learn to take responsibility for ourselves, to recognize that we're more powerful than we know, and to little bit by little bit uncover that. One step at a time. And that's okay. You know how you eat a whale? One step at a time, one bite at a time. So if you feel like, okay, maybe even if Della's real, maybe even if she's serious, maybe even if I really am this amazing, awesome person, how do I even get there? And that job feels so insurmountable that we often just blow it off and say, I can't do it, not worth it, not worth my time, I got other things to do. One step at a time. One bite at a time. And if you do one little thing today that makes you better than you were yesterday, you're moving forward. And that's all anybody can ask. A big part of personal responsibility is not being a victim, not blaming, but taking accountability for yourself. Taking accountability for the choices that you make, and not to put yourself down or to feel bad about it, but to recognize, hey, I can do better, or that was really great. I'm really proud of myself for that. So, excuse me, I got a tickle. Let's go into what we're talking about today. And if you'll excuse me for just one second, because I thought I had this up on Facebook Live, and apparently I didn't. So I'm going to take one quick second to start that. Hello, Facebook Live. Welcome to have you. So we're talking about how your body and your intuition and yourself are actually a trifecta, not necessarily different things. And there's other parts, there's other facets of you, but these are the three we're going to focus on today. Your intuition can talk to you through your body. Sometimes it talks into your mind. There's a whole show on that if you want to go back and find that one. Today we're talking about how it speaks to you through your body. And most of the time that's through emotions. So let's test this, okay? Because anything I tell you is only words. If you can test this out and find it out for yourself, that's when you can gain a better understanding of it. I want you to think about the last time that you were really happy, the last time that you were excited, the last time that you were charged, the last time that you really just felt joy. So bring to your mind the last time you felt happy. I want you to close your eyes if it's helpful. Think what you thought, feel what you felt, see what you saw, hear what you heard, what was going on, how did you feel when you were that happy? Be aware of your body. When you first took on this happy thought, did your breath change? Did you take a big breath? Did you sigh? What happened to your shoulders? Are they up? Are they down? Do they feel relaxed? Do they feel tense? Is your head up? Is your chin up? Is your head down? What about your gut? What do you feel in your gut? Take a minute and just feel the way your body is reacting to being happy. Become aware of all of the changes that occur in your body when it gets happy. You're going to feel different muscles tense up. You're going to hold your body differently. Your posture is going to be different. And as Amy Cuddy talks about in that TED Talk, you literally release different chemicals based on your body posture. If you're upright, head up, standing strongly, firmly, you're going to have more testosterone, less cortisol, and it actually changes how people interact with you because they can feel that energy. Speaking of that energy, while you have that happy feeling, if in case you let it go again, bring it back. Feel that happy feeling. Remember whatever it was that made you so happy and feel that feeling. And maybe with your eyes closed, unless that's not safe, I want you to feel that feeling, feel that joy, and then imagine yourself as a star, as a little earthly star walking around on planet Earth, but as a star with this light glowing out of you. How bright is that light while you feel this joy? Is it spreading outside of your body? Is it only isolated in your body? Where is that light? Where is that energy? How far is it spreading around you? So just think about that, okay? And while you're there, take a minute to feel that gratitude, to be grateful for that happiness that you were able to bring back from a memory. You thought of a memory and it changed your entire body. That's pretty cool. So be grateful for that. Next, we're going to jump, and I want you to think about the last time that you were unhappy, sad, angry, frustrated, whatever it was. And maybe you don't even have to go very back far in time to find that time. But do the same thing. Think what you thought, feel what you felt, see what you saw, hear what you heard. Jump back into that feeling. Remember what was happening that made you feel sad. And now check in with your body. Did your breathing change? When you first took on that sadness, did you let out a sigh? Did your shoulders kind of fall? Did your chin fall closer to your chest? What is your posture now while you're feeling sad? And while you're there, what feeling do you have in your gut? Talking about that gut brain. It's a real thing. What feeling do you have in your gut? And I didn't bring you here. I didn't ask you to be sad to leave you there. I brought you there so that we could walk through this. So while you're there, first of all, see yourself as that star again, that little earthly star, walking around Earth, shining with your brightness. How does your energy feel? Is that brightness shining out from you like it was when you were feeling happy? Or does it feel very different? If you can recognize that, and that's the only thing you recognize, then you have learned something today. Something that I hope will truly help you. Okay, while you're feeling that feeling, first of all, I just want you to be with it. Recognize it. Don't try to suppress it. Don't try to fight it. Just acknowledge it. Realize that it is there, that it is real, and it is yours. One beautiful thing about your emotions is they are yours and you have a right to them. And that's okay. You don't have a right to push them onto other people or affect other people because of them necessarily, but you have a right to feel however you need to feel. So while you're feeling that, just let yourself feel it. Give yourself permission to feel your emotions and to process them. And ask yourself, what else could this mean? And you remember what it was that caused you to feel so sad. Ask yourself, was there something else there? Was there more to it than that? What else could this mean? And some of these questions that we're going through now, I got from Tony Robbins. Got to give him credit for, because he's super, super smart guy. And I believe in taking advantage of other people's brilliance. When other people are smart, I want to know what they know. So as you're wondering that, what else does this mean? Do I know everything that I need to know about this? Is there more to that emotion that you need to understand? What are you really feeling? And why? And the interesting thing about these questions is when you're actually feeling a strong emotion, these questions can help you understand what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and help you process it. Make sure you're acknowledging it, be with it, feel it. And here's a weird thing, especially for what you might think of as negative emotions, be grateful for them. When you have a negative emotion, whether it's negative, positive, whatever, it's your body talking to you. It's your intuition telling you something. And that's pretty awesome, because a lot of times we can't tell that it's our intuition. This might very well be a very strong and direct sign and a message from your intuition trying to help you understand something better. So then get curious. Tony Robbins says, be like a little kid. Be curious. Okay, if there's something that my intuition is telling me here, what's that message? What do I have to learn here? And feel reassured that you can do this. You've done it before and you're going to do it again. In fact, remember another time that you've had this emotion or something similar and how you handled it. You can probably call to mind another time that you were sad and a way that you positively processed it in order to improve how you felt. Knowing that you did it before, you can do it again. And know that, recognize that you can do this. You've processed this emotion previously. You can process this emotion again. Our emotions, each one that we feel, usually is trying to tell us something. One thing you might notice is patterns, that you have the same type of emotions pretty regularly. And if you're having the same type of emotions, especially if you view them as negative, there's a pattern there. That means that something is happening for you every time. And if you don't like it, you can go back into that pattern, evaluate that pattern, and see what you need to change. These are your emotions. Nobody else has them. Other people can be aware of them, sense them, but you're the only one that has them. You're the only one that can change them. And some things don't necessarily need to be changed. For example, grief. If you're experiencing real loss and grief, you don't need to change that. And in fact, trying to suppress it, trying to control it, only makes it worse. It doesn't help at all. There are times that we're in a social situation where it's not acceptable to break down and cry, and you might have to manage it until you can get to a place where you can do that. But it's okay. It's okay to process that. It's okay to feel that. Allow yourself to embrace your emotions. It's almost like if you have a child who asks a lot of questions or always wants attention or is always asking for something, the more you say, no, I'll talk to you later. Hang on, honey, I'll be back. Wait a minute. The more you try and put that child off, the more it nags you. And I love kids, don't get me wrong, but they know how to bug you, just like your emotions and your intuition do. And they'll keep going and going and going until they get under your skin, until you finally do whatever it takes to handle them. On the other hand, if that little kid is saying, can you get me a snack? Can you get me a snack? Can you get me a snack? And you get him a snack, he'll sit down and be quiet for 5-10 minutes, if you're lucky. So I want you to do the same thing. Instead of pushing it away, instead of suppressing it, instead of hiding from it, just face it. Ask your body what it needs from you. Ask your intuition, what message is here? What lesson is this emotion trying to teach you? And in doing that, it will help you process the emotions. It will help you handle the emotions, and it will let you come out the other side a little bit quicker and wiser. And isn't that something that you want? It might feel like it's hard to face the emotion. It might feel like it's hard to attack this emotion and really address it. But what's harder is not doing that. It's kind of like, again, your messy house. The more you ignore it, the messier it's going to get. I hate doing housework. My husband does almost all of it, and I'm really grateful for him. But it's got to get done. Somebody, and when it comes to your emotions, that somebody is you, has to recognize them and work with them in order to move forward. One way that most of us, actually there's several ways that we usually deal with emotions. What we usually do is avoid them, ignore them. When they come up, we go, nope, not happening, not feeling it today. I don't have time. I don't have patience. And we very often will just push them off. And like I said, there's times when it's socially appropriate to push that off, but you cannot push it off until it goes away, because it's not going to. It will just sit in your mind, in your heart, and keep bugging you even after you've forgotten that it's there, which is even worse, because then you don't know what's bugging you, but it's still going to bug you. Another thing we do is endure, suppress. We feel like, okay, I've been told to just endure all things so I can endure this pain I'm feeling. Is that really what you want? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing to endure, because we do need to endure. We do need to make it to the end. But enduring your emotions instead of handling them makes that a lot harder and a lot longer. Also, suppressing your emotions. One big depression that pretty much all of us have experienced at some point or other is depression. Do you understand what the word depression means? It means it's being pushed down. It means it's being suppressed. If you can stop suppressing your emotions, you might find that that has very positive effects on the depression that you're feeling. If you stop depressing those emotions and face them, you might find that you just have less depression in general. One thing that people do is compete. Oh, look at me. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so sad. Look at me. You'll never be as happy as I am. You'll never be as upset as I am. Nobody's life is as bad as mine. Nobody's life is as good as mine. And we all have those people in our lives. I guarantee you've got a Facebook friend that does that. And I bet you it drives you bat crazy. However, it is something that all of us do at least a little bit at times. So don't be too hard on yourself. You can recognize, oh yeah, I do that. And you can get better. One thing about doing that is there's many, many things in our life that we gain an identity through. We think, oh, I'm a good mother, therefore I'm a mother, therefore I'm amazing at being a mother. And then we kind of build our identity around that, which is great because that's something that you're really good at. However, if that's your whole identity, when your kids move out on their own, what are you left with? Then you're going to feel like you have nothing left. So whether it's your emotions or parenting or whatever it is that you identify with, I'm just giving you a warning, if you make that thing your identity, when you no longer have that thing, you're going to be wondering who you are. So it's better to deal with that in a safe place now so you can figure out who you are now without that, rather than have it slammed in your face down the road. We also love to share our emotions. And we've all had a friend that we have similar complaints with. Maybe it's somebody at work. You don't like your job. They don't like your job. So you both get together and complain about your job together. So you feel connected. You feel like that person gets you and you get them. But you're doing the same thing I talked about a minute ago, which is creating your identity around your emotions. And then let's say that you no longer have that job and you can no longer complain about how bad it is. It leaves you in a place of wondering where and what you are. Also, if we're only sharing the negative, we're not helping anybody. There's a difference between complaining and expressing a frustration. I used to be a foster mom, and this is something I always taught my foster kids. If you want to just complain for the sake of complaining, there's a tree out back you can go talk to, because it will help you solve as many problems as you'll solve complaining. If you're ready to problem solve, come talk to me. If you have a valid complaint and suggestions on how to fix it, great. Let's do that. But just complaining for the sake of complaining, it serves a purpose in the moment because you kind of feel good while you're complaining, but then nothing is ever fixed. If you want to get to the bottom of it, you have to actually address it. You have to actually look for the solutions and not just complain about it. This goes back again to that personal responsibility I was talking about. The cool thing about personal responsibility is when you learn how to do that in certain different areas of your life, a little bit at a time, step at a time, bite at a time, then you all of a sudden gain this understanding that you have control in your life, that you can pick and choose the things you want to do, the things you want to be. It's very, very empowering. So we love being a victim. We love being able to blame all of our problems on everything and everyone else. But then we're also giving up all of our power to be able to actually affect any positive solutions. So ask yourself which one you want to do. And when you have these patterns arise in your life, when you have these emotions come up in your life, ask yourself, do I want to be a victim, be here with this, and fight with my emotions continuously? Or do I want to take some personal responsibility for how I'm feeling right now and move forward from there? It's challenging. It sounds really easy. In fact, when I say it like that, you're like, duh, of course I would face them, until you have that emotion, not just in front of you, but inside you. And that changes how you feel about everything. It's a lot harder to do when you're actually faced with it. And I'm very empathetic about that. But I also know that you can. I know you can. And if you try it, you'll find that you can too. When we talk about certain different specific emotions, we talked about depression a little bit. Anger, I want to teach you this. This is very, very important. Anger is a secondary emotion. If you get mad, it's not the first thing that you felt. You felt something else first. Anger is a secondary emotion, and it is secondary to either hurt or fear. So if you're mad, ask that question, what else could this mean? Why am I feeling this? Chances are you're upset because someone hurt your feelings, and so you want to be angry and kind of hurt back. Or you might be in fear that something in your life is going to change, that you don't have the control that you want. That fear often comes from a feeling of not feeling in control. So, for example, if your kids are running around the house not following any instructions, you have that fear that you're not in control, and then you tend to get angry and yell at your kids. I know, because I've been there. I'm a mom, and I've had those moments. If you can, however, step back to the first feeling that you had before the emotion came. Was it hurt? Was it fear? What caused it? And go through those steps. Be really curious about it. Why am I feeling this? Acknowledge it. And then remember, you got through it before. You can do it again. One emotion I want to talk about is guilt. Guilt is a very, very interesting thing. And I feel that, and this is my own personal opinion, I feel that we are taught to be guilty for things that we shouldn't be guilty for. I feel that whether we're wherever we are, family situations, school situations, church situations, social situations, we take on a tremendous amount of shame over little things. And then we hold on to that. And man, it pulls us down. It holds us back. When you are carrying guilt and shame, it's almost impossible to move forward. So when you're feeling guilt, you might recognize that you feel guilty because you have violated a standard. And I want you to take a minute and take the time to look at that and say, okay, what standard did I violate? And was it a legitimate standard? And if it was a legitimate standard, is the amount of guilt that I'm feeling appropriate for the standard that I broke? So what that might mean is you might have done something really little, something very small. You broke a minor infraction. You minorly violated a standard, but yet you have huge and tremendous guilt over it. Or you might feel guilty because you violated a standard that you don't even believe in. And that's when we go back to rules, the BS rules. Somebody else might have a BS rule out there, and even though you don't believe in it, even though you don't actually acknowledge that, it's still a rule. So when it gets broken, you feel bad about it. You shouldn't feel that way. What I want you to do when that happens is evaluate that standard. Is that a valid standard for you? If it is, now you know the lesson. Now you know what you need to change. If it's not a valid standard, then it's time to change your standards. Think about that. And maybe, just maybe, you've been feeling guilty for years over things that you don't need to feel guilty for. And it's time to let it go. It's time to let it roll off your shoulders. It's time to realize that you've been holding yourself back by clinging and holding on to these emotions, this guilt, this shame, this anger, whatever, instead of recognizing what you might think are negative emotions. Recognize that those are positive emotions because they are there to teach you. This is an excellent opportunity for you to learn, to gain greater understanding. Now, this isn't an easy thing. I've said that already, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. The first time you face your guilt and your sadness, it's tough. The second time, it's still tough. The time after that, it's a little bit easier. And then it's going to keep getting better and better. And then you're going to go, wait, I'm feeling sad. This is what I'm feeling. This is what my body's doing. I already know why I'm having these feelings because I had them before. Now I know how to go into it, fix it, and make myself better. And that's what we're all here for, is to make ourselves better. Take a deep look inside, realize who you are, and realize that even if you can't see it, you are extraordinary. That's all my time. Thank you, extraordinary friends. I'll see you next week.